Hello, hello, and welcome back, everybody, to another update. This one will have a few things that some of you guys are really going to appreciate, I think, and we are on the way towards making some of your other dreams come true. So, this will be for update 0.4.6.26. So, this one's coming out Wednesday, June 26th. So, without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. I would like to start by changing this number right here. Oh, hello, that's my cat. Yes. Oh, you're excited about the new update, are you? Yeah. Oh, he's excited. Okay, so I'm going to go through the improvements. Excuse me. So, first of all, the improvements I will tell you about. The plan view measurement. Oh, my goodness. Let's just get rid of. Well, wait a second. Let's just do this. The first thing I want to tell you is that the plan view markers are not going to be visible now in edit mode. Okay, so that's one new thing. They will only be visible when you take a snapshot of the table. So let's save this and take a snapshot, and you see them there real quick. You can pause if you want to go back, or this opens up in your browser. Wait, you can't see it, can you? That's fine. The screenshot opens up in your browser, and then you can go view it there if you want to. All right, so that's one thing that's been fixed. The reticle here in the middle, if you really don't like that, and I can understand if you don't, all you got to do is go here to this and uncheck it. Now that's fixed. That will stay set. It was not staying set for some reason, and it wasn't going away, so now you can build without that. Just do keep in mind that when you hit a button down here and you put something in the screen, it's just going to go wherever your screen is pointing. And if your screen is at an angle like this, some objects will spawn in at the angle of your screen, and if you want to, you can press X and it will align them to the vertical coordinate here. So something to keep in mind. Let's get rid of some of these guys. Now, those are a couple of the new improvements. Let's see. Oh yeah, the play tutorial final dismiss button now works as it should. I'm not going to go through the entire tutorial just to show you that, but, well, I guess I can. Let's just go ahead and do that. We'll go to settings and we'll show tutorial tips, and here we'll just go through these. I'm just going to step through them all, and we'll load up a blank table, and we'll go ahead and go through, and blah, 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 blah. We'll get rid of these. We'll go ahead and put that there. Save that as test. And go there. And then we can click these. And when you're ready, enter play mode. So we'll do that. And now here we are in the play mode. And of course, initially you can't click on it. You have to press the U key. And then you click that, and now the dismiss works as you would expect it to work. Okay, I'm rolling the mouse wheel while holding the right mouse button down, and that will change the speed that the camera moves. By the way, in case anybody didn't know that, the mouse is not displayed down here. Maybe I could do that. I don't know. Anyways, we'll go back to edit mode. And we'll go ahead and get rid of this. Another new feature. So, well, let's get into the new features now. So as far as new features go, in edit mode here, we've got something pretty exciting. Actually, let's go ahead and put that rascal back down there. No, let's change it to this one. This one makes things easier to see. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to hit 5 to turn on the grid. Now, if you want to put this at exactly a certain position, let's say here, which is 0, all you got to do is go down here and hit 0, tab, and then you can say 0 and hit tab, and it'll put it right there at 0. Also notice when I hit tab down here, just watch these boxes. Those are all now properly sorted so that you can tab straight through each section. So if you put it here, you get each section. So also that works vertically here. So if you do that, it'll tab straight down through all of these. And then it'll end up going up here and across and down these. Depends on whether or not they're enabled. All right, so now you see that the post is right there. We have a change here in the way that we're going to do lighting. So if you want to adjust the lights in edit mode, you can still do that. You have to now hold the Alt key down and then press the left or right arrows or up or down arrows, depending on if you want the playfield lighting to go up or down. So if I put this light, I'll just leave that light right where it is. So I'm holding Alt down and I'm pressing the up and down arrows, and I'm still holding Alt down and I'm pressing the left right arrows. That's so you can adjust the lighting if you want to see what your table looks like in different lighting situations. Now let's say you want to move this with the arrow keys left or right or up or down or whatever. Now you don't hold down any other buttons, but you can, oops, let me click on it. And you can use right arrow, up arrow, left arrow, etc. And if you have it, you can watch here. Oops, I'm pointing with my finger. You can watch over here and see exactly the position on the playfield where your object is located. And now if I hold down the Shift key, it'll move a full 10 millimeters at a time. So you can move things around a lot faster. Boop, 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 boop. If you want to just move stuff, you know, in increments of 1 or 10 millimeters at a time. Now, if you're here and you move 10 millimeters, it's going to move you just 10 millimeters at a shot. So if you want to be on the line and move 10 millimeters, you have to be on the line to begin with. And I'm pressing 2 keys simultaneously, and you can see it moves at a diagonal. So you can do that too, if you want. Now I'm pressing all 4 buttons, and it's not going to go anywhere. It looks like a chess table, kind of. All right, so that's new. So Shiva, shout out to Shiva on the discussions for requesting this. I think that he made a very good point in that this is something that the game needed, and I appreciate you, Shiva, for reaching out and sharing this idea amongst all the other ones that you have. Many, many, many levels of appreciation from me to you for that. And I'm going to be implementing some other ideas that Sir Shiva has submitted. So, in fact, one of those is going to happen right here, right now, with this version of the game. So let's take a look at that real fast. And if we go to cabinet mode, which you can get to here, or you can press the 2 key on your keyboard, you're going to see a new option, show standard surround. Uh-oh, I got to fix that. I need to fix these. These tooltips are really wrong. I'll fix these tooltips by the time this comes out. Tooltips are often the last thing on my mind, so obviously I haven't changed either one of those, which is sad because that means that one has been wrong for quite some time. Okay, so now if, you can turn off the original apron if you want to build a playfield without an apron at all. Yeah, that's great, but Shiva pointed out that he thought it would be really ideal to not have to deal with this wood surround at all. And so I agreed with that. And so now you can just turn it off. So if you just turn it off and leave it like this and save it, and then we go into play mode, you're going to see that the game acts kind of funny. So let's just take a look at that. And we'll see the ball will spawn right there if we start up a game. But it's just going to keep rolling away because it doesn't know what to do. Do I have credits? Yes. And for some strange reason, it's not wanting to work. I wonder what's up with that. Let's just load it in again. Sometimes, why, I don't know. Certain inputs won't go. It's because of a menu related issue. I will see if I can't fix that. That's been a problem I've fixed before, so how it returned, I'm not quite sure. But we should have, yeah, there we go. So now you see the ball's just going to keep respawning in a kind of weird way. So we don't want that, right? Also, the ball's going to just roll away and never do anything. So if you decide that you don't want the native wood surround on your playfield, then you really need to go add one of these ball spawners. So we'll just put that there and we'll give it a power of 4, and I'm just going to save it, and let's just take a look at that and see what it does. And I know you're probably wondering, what's up with this? Why is there no wood surround? You'll see that it just pops into play right there. Why is it popping in at a funny angle like that? That's sort of strange. I'm not quite sure. It seems like it's colliding with the... I don't know. All right. I'm not sure if it's... I'm not sure why it's doing that, actually. That's rather weird. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to aim this up this way. And I'm going to add this new object right here, which you can see is a little wooden wall. Boom. There it is. So this is our new wall system. It's super duper simple. I'm going to change the color of this to kind of a nice grayish blue. And if I put this here, let's say 213, whoops, I put 23, 213, and it's rotated funny. I don't want that funny rotation, so I'll zero that out. Let's go 200. Let's go to, well, 08. Good enough. Okay, so that's at 208 and roughly 507.345. Now you can use this to change the length of the wood up to 1,000. However, you can also add 5,000, and that sucker will just keep on going as far as you want it to. But you probably don't want it that long, so you can use this, and you can pull it down like that, and you can put that there, and then you can create another one and rotate it. I think that's minus 90, yeah. And let's grab the color off of that one, and we'll just pop it there, and we can put this here. Oops. And we can make that one, as long as you want. You can actually get down there and make it exactly the length that you want. You can use the grid, and you'll see that these do follow the grid. What am I trying to say? Let's see. We'll put that at 45, and let's go 400. And you'll see that its length is 50 centimeters or 50 millimeters long, or 5 centimeters. And if we go to 100, it's 100, et cetera, et cetera. So you can get really good, accurate lengths on that. And the root location is going to be, actually, let's say 50. It's centered on the center of the wall. So if you want that offset, you can just offset it by 5, and it'll fit right in there. I think the wood itself is just slightly less than 5 millimeters wide. But now, let's change this to 12. And we'll save it, and we'll jump into play mode. And we'll get back here, and we'll go ahead and start. And now you see that the ball will just drop right there. But what you need is you need for it to not drop right there. You need for it to drop within the ball spawner. So if you want this to shoot up to the lane, it's got to be sitting inside the spawner when it comes to a rest. So let me show you what I mean by that. We'll go over here and we'll just grab one of these little walls and we'll put it right there. And we'll bring this up and this down something like that. So if we put this here, now what'll happen is it'll spawn into that little pocket and it'll still be sitting within the collider. So you can see that green area there. And that is the ball drain collision zone. So now if we save this and we go back to play mode, and start a game, we'll see that the ball will pop up there. And I had it set for way too high a speed, so I think 3 or 4 is right. And you know what? I have been gonna go in and change the default here to 4. I think is the one that's good. Let's see. I think that's about right. No, 4 is even too high. Maybe just 1. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Now, another thing that I am looking at doing is giving you the ability not only to add all your own wood surrounds however you want to, but also being able to move the plunger location to wherever you want to, anywhere. And I am in the process also of looking at a way to accommodate being able to accommodate any size of playfield. So you could make your playfields as big as a shoebox if you wanted to, and then the cabinets would essentially shrink down to a certain size. And maybe if it was too small, this door wouldn't show or whatever, but that's going to take a little bit of work. As you might imagine, it's a little bit of calculation. These cabinets are actually 3D models, which include the legs, the buttons, the side rails, and the lockdown bar and all that stuff. Oh yeah, there's our glass. Okay, so there you go. That's that. There was one other thing, though, I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay. So another thing that has been asked for is scaling of things. So I am going to just go ahead and delete all of this and make it easy on myself and go back and show these guys. And what I want to do now is show you how you can scale literally any object now in the game. So let's say you put in a post like that one, and you want to scale it to a different dimension. Well, we have scale here. So if you scale it, you can scale it twice its size. And then if you want to move it up, you just hold down the caps lock key and you can move it up. And now it's gigantic compared to how it normally would appear. So here's the standard one, and there it is at twice the scale. And you can do that with as much scale as you want. So you can make those ginormous if you wanted to. And, you know, it's going to take a little finagling to move that up there. Or you can just move back and, whoops, grab it and move it up. Now, this movement does not scoop past the top or bottom currently, so that could be something I would fix soon. Now, you may run into an issue with this, though, because these rubber parts are colliders while the metal posts themselves are not, and that's to just save on collision resources inside the engine. So if you scale something up really huge, be aware that not all of these components are clickable, or not clickable, but you know, um, they're not all collidable is the word I was looking for. I'm sorry, my brain is not functioning currently. So, and some things are not going to scale exactly right either. So as you can see on this rascal here, the bottom ring is missing. And that's because it's probably actually up inside there. Yeah, there it is. Now, that's going to not behave like a thumper bumper anymore because it's been scaled up too much. But for visual aesthetics and stuff like that, you could change the size of these things if you wanted to. It actually may still hit. It may thump still because from what I believe, yeah, the colliders are still attached to it. So let's see what happens. It'll probably thump. This is silly. Oh, look, the ring did scale up. Sweet. All right, let's press that. Yeah, it still works. Look at that. Hey, that's good. I didn't experiment with all the things being scaled, and I decided, you know what, you guys wanted scaling, so there you go. You can scale stuff. Now, what is cool about this is you could select, you can't scale that wall, but you can scale these guys. So now remember, X, in Unreal Engine, X is this vertical, but I've switched it so that X is the left-right because that's standard. Let's see, yeah, so that's more standard. But as you can see, we can still change the length of this, and it should still act as a collider even though it's been scaled up. So I haven't actually tested that. Let's see if that works. Let's scale this to 22. Well, let's go 44. And then let's rotate it, and we'll put it here. And I'm going to put a ball spawner. Actually, I don't need anything but the standard spawner. So let's put one of those there. And that should just spawn a ball that rolls down it. Let's see. If you know, it should work. Although I haven't tested it yet, really, to be honest. As far as scaling stuff like this goes, it hasn't been my highest priority for testing collision. But I think it should be, considering things like that. Yay! So yeah, that works. It seems to work anyway. All right. So the colliders do work. That's good. Now, I wouldn't necessarily use one of these this way. I would do it more like this way with a height. So you could change the height. Now that's going to be going down into the playfield at that point. But you could just leave it like that if you wanted to. So if you wanted really big walls on the sides here, let's get rid of these. So let's say you wanted to put a higher wall on the side and make that a really long back wall of some kind or another, you could do that. Now do keep in mind too though that you can't put decals on these at all at this point, so they're just paintable. So you can change colors and whatnot. But you could actually, let's see, yeah, that'll duplicate properly. Oh, it didn't duplicate the scale for some reason. But you could do two like that and make like different, oops, wanted that button. You could make different colors and make different kinds of walls like that, stuff like that, just for kicks. I don't know, you know, scale what you want. You can scale anything. Now these guys, they will work as long as the target is below or roughly where the ball's going to hit. If it's too high, like you put it up normally like that, the ball's going to just go through this metal part below. So that's not going to function right. And no, you can't scale the ball yet, although maybe, I don't know. Let's see, let's try this, and I'll show you. You can actually scale the flippers. Oops. So we can scale the flipper down to half size and it will still function. So I'm just going to put it right here. Wait, I'm going to scale this one up to twice the size. So that's a double size flipper and a half size flipper. And let's see, let's go ahead and I know you may not ever want to do this, but it's possible now. So let's go ahead and put some of these guys here just so we have something to keep the ball in play. Okay, hello. Grab. Thank you. All right. And let's go here and put those back on there. And I'm just going to get rid of this one. And I need one of these guys. So we'll just put this up there, and we'll bring this up there. I'm not going to worry about a gate for right now. I just want to show you that these actually do still function, and we'll probably see the ball go through that. So let's go take a look at this. Start up the game. Whoops. So as you can see, the flippers will scale. So you can scale flippers as much as you want to. And their power appears to be affected by that somewhat. Let's see. So yeah, the longer it is, or the larger it is, the faster it's going to flip. If you don't want the height to be so drastic, you could still, you could do all kinds of things with this. You could say, let's keep these at 1, and you could, oops, wait, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this at 1. Is that right? No, I wanted that one at 2. So it's a normal height. Let's make this one 1 again. So there's our normal flipper. Now this one is the normal height, but it is just a larger dimension. So you could do it this way, or you could say, well, let's make these like that, but let's make it taller. So you can make really tall flippers if you wanted to. You can make it insane flippers if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want flippers like this, but you could do that if you wanted to. So anyway, there you go. Those are scalable. Let's see. Oh, another request I had recently was for the use of allowing the use of commas as decimals. So in the UK and other countries, a lot of people like to use commas as decimals, and that is now possible. So if we want to scale this to, let's say, 2,5, we can do that. And if I hit enter, it's going to scale it to 2.5, but it is going to go ahead and change that comma back to a decimal point because that's the standard inside the game. It won't accommodate the commas, but you can do commas in any field. If you wanted to do 89, 50, 89, 5 will work. The same is true here. If you do 3,5, it'll convert that to a 3.5. And that's true for any of these numeric text entry fields here. All of these are converted to take that into account. And these are integers, so those don't need it. And these are also integers, so those don't need it either. So those haven't been changed. And I don't think there are any other fields that require a decimal point for entry. I did check to make sure that there weren't any. So if you find one, just let me know. But I think we got you covered there. So that's an update, a new feature. Let's see, what else? I'm looking at my list here, and arrow keys, lighting, text entry fields, scaling. So yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. And the ability to show and hide those guys. I'm going to right now go ahead and go in and fix these tooltips so that they are correct. And then I'm going to upload this to Steam, and you guys can go have some fun scaling things and messing around. And while you're doing that, I'm going to come back and try to figure out how can I manipulate the dimension of the playfield itself without any issues. Also, I just thought of something else. I think it was Andhar. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I wanted to show you that I am not having issues with the lower playfield display. So if I scale this and go to the lower, and I add a lower playfield wood, oh, look at that. Oh my God. Wow. Dude. Oh, that's interesting. So what is causing this? I wasn't having the problem before, but now I am. That is weird. So if you move the grabbers, yes, it is hard to work with. You can still scale it out to where you want it. I know this is not ideal. I know it. And I will fix this. I am freaking so it's so funny that it's not working. But let me show you something. That is weird because it wasn't doing that for me earlier. But when you go back to the main level, it does redisplay. Well, not when you go back to it. This is strange because in the editor, when I'm working in Unreal Engine building the game, this wasn't happening. So why is it happening now? Very good question. That is very strange. Oh, this is tickling me. It's so funny. Why would that happen? Oh, that is funny. Yeah, it definitely makes it hard to work with. I agree. Because where are you going to put your stuff? Why is it just... Oh, man, that is hilarious. All right, let me try something here. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to jump out and come back to it and see if that affects it. Right now, I've just entered debug mode, so obviously it's still there. Whoops, that's too fast. We still have the piece there, and so that's good. But why would it not display? Yeah, it hides it before it jumps in there. Color myself embarrassed, Andar. That is so funny. Okay, so this video, I'm not going to redo it because it's already got all the stuff in it that I wanted to explain, and I don't want to waste another hour trying to do this, but I will definitely go in and see if I can't fix this. If I can, I will add it to the notes and say, hey, that's been fixed also. And if I can't, I will also add that to the notes if I can't figure out what the F is causing this problem. But it is very frustrating. I concur. And the reason I didn't notice it again is because I was looking at this in the editor. And that makes me... just hang on a second. All right, you guys, so I am in the editor itself right now, okay? So this is Unreal Engine. I'm going to let you have a peek under the hood at what I have to look at and work with every single day. And that comes out sounding bad, like I don't like what I do, but I absolutely love this stuff. Now, you're going to see a lot of connections between objects and things like you're looking at right now, these connectors. I work in the blueprint zone, but these get converted into C++, and I have actually written a lot of C++ code itself into this game, so I have my own functions and things that do get utilized in the game. That are actual C++ coding. So the reason I like the blueprints is I'm a very visual person, and so they really help me to really be able to see the code in a much different way. It's sort of like the Matrix in a lot of sense, I guess, is kind of how I like to look at it. So what we're looking at right now is just a simple plastic post and the code that goes into just this post. So there are various versions of the post, and there's metal posts, but This post is not like that. This is a plastic post which has various different plastic body types to it and different components to it here. Rubber is the word I was trying to find in my very tired brain. But, you know, if we look at the event graph for this, there's a lot of stuff that goes into just a simple post. You know, so each one of these is various lines of code shown in a visual way to take care of things. Like this is setting colors and materials. This, we have to build the materials first. We create dynamic ones, and certain materials have to be created in order for that to work. So that's just a simple post. Now, one of the most complex pieces of code lies underneath the hood here under what is the UI for edit mode. Now, there's more than just the UI code. There's also an editor pawn that is the pawn that you move around in edit mode, and it has a ton of code of its own. Now, you may think, oh my God, that's a cluster F of stuff, but, well, you're right. It is a cluster F, but it's the most organized cluster F I can manage at the moment. Now, you may understand why some things can get broken during an update, but I have become incredibly careful not to do that anymore. I did have some issues where sometimes, you know, doing an update would affect something else. But now this is just the code that does things like this is scaling decals and inserts. So if you scale a decal or an insert, you're going to be running through all of this code. That's a lot of code. There are sections here that are duplicated, which I need to convert to functions that would make it a little bit more efficient and way easier to edit. But at the moment, that's not needed, so I'm focusing on other things. But yeah, this is the under the hood, as it were, part of it. There's a lot of other stuff, though. A lot of things like this, which is a lot more organized. This is grabber toggle. This is the snap to nearest function that I built. This is plastic snapping. We've got turn off selection outlines, which has to go through and find all the types of objects that would have outlines if you wanted to turn them on or off. This is a mouse rotating objects piece of code. This is like a section of types that we ignore. For example, lower playfield, you don't want to rotate that, so that's ignored. Oh, I need to go in here and turn these guys off. Those are going to take a second. So as you can see, and I want to turn the tooltip delay down. All right. So as you can see, there's a lot to this, but this is nothing compared to the stuff behind edit mode here. So this is the HUD that you see. And currently I'm working on this FBX loading. But this is the HUD layout. These panels, like this one, can be toggled on and off. So let's see, whereas like logic editor panel is this one. And underneath each one of those is a ton of stuff. I mean, that panel is really deep. But that's not the full depth of what we're looking at. If we go to our event graph here, you're going to see a lot of code. And this is definitely one of those things where I really need to slow down and start converting a lot of this stuff into functions to not only clear this up and make it cleaner, but to also, shoot, I can't zoom out any further. Also to make it more efficient. So this is the bottom where new events are added. So anything newly added will pop up down here. And by that I mean if I put a new button on the UI, it's going to show up right down there, and then I'll add code. For example, this one is the last one I added, which is the checkbox to show the standard surround. So it casts to the game instance, and it sets a couple of variables, and then it finds the wall surround that's there, and then it sets its visibility, and then it does some updates to an array, and then it sets collision enabled or disabled. Then it also finds this, what I call the scalable separator, which is that extra wall, and it does the same for that. And all that's just handling the checking or unchecking of that show standard surround checkbox. But there is a lot more in this blueprint. This is one of the largest blueprints in Unreal Engine that I have ever created, and it just keeps on growing, so I definitely need to break it out. But it's all UI based, so it's got to be in with the UI. Like, for example, this section handles audio import. This section handles flipper angles. And we just keep on going. This section is logic mode related, a lot of logic mode stuff here. This entire box is just the loading of components for every table, and it's calling sub functions also. So it's loading the table data. So these three sections, this top section is loading master objects such as a slingshot, and then this section would load the sub objects such as the posts in the slingshot and their locations and colors. And if it's not a master, it would use this section down here. And yeah, I know that looks like a complete and utter cluster F, and it is. But to be honest, there's no way to avoid that. I mean, it would take me weeks just to clean that up at this point. And, should I? Yes, I definitely will. That's one of those things that I am aiming to do prior to going full release, is what Steam calls it. So here we see this is cycling through all of the objects that are saved, whether it's a master or a sub or how many subs there are, the object, so all of these are an object's parameters that can be set or changed. And, so there's a lot there. And then not only that, but we got to keep on going because that's only the table loading function. All of this other stuff is handling input from you guys. So this is all user input stuff. And it goes on and on and on. And you're probably wondering, well, how the hell does she even deal with all this? Oh my God. And the best way to do it is to just find. You do find, like delete. I don't think delete's in here actually, but I think that's in the editor pawn. Oh yeah, here we go. So here we can see this is the delete section. That's right. So clear playfield. So that's the clear playfield section. So that's one way. The search thing is one way I have to handle all of this. And this is just edit mode. And there are other sections to this, like this is the code that's called when you spawn an object onto the playfield. Right now I'm working on this, which is really janky looking because it's experimental. This is importing user FBX files. This is the load combo boxes. So any drop-down combos you have, those get loaded here. This whole section is a function that loads all the cabinet data. So Shiva, if you're watching this is this right here is why it's kind of hard to just change it so that the cabinet changes size to match any size of playfield. It's not simple. These are all the parameters for the cabinet itself. So I will have to add new arrays to handle width and depth or width and length, stuff like that. So those are some cabinet items, and then we have more down here where it's crazy. Now, when I first started this project, did I think that this was going to look like this? Hell no. I had no clue. But there was a reason that I was coming in here to show you guys something, especially Andar. But I did get sidetracked wanting to show you what the actual underlying code looks like. Now this is just the playfield. So here's the playfield for play mode, and this is some of the code under it that handles play mode stuff. But there's a level blueprint that handles even more. I mean, it's deep. the game is freaking deep. You know, there's a lot to this game. This right here is just what happens when this playfield first loads up. All of these are events that have to occur. Some are functions that are set up, like I've got an update display function. So this function is called when, and that's pretty huge, you know. That is something that has to happen with the displays every time, you know, a table is loaded, basically. So anyways, I just thought, you know, why not share with you guys some of the stuff that I do? Now, you guys build pinball machines, and I build a tool set and a video game in and of itself that helps you do that. So I'm proud of this work, and it may not look pretty in every situation, but I don't care. I mean, it works, and that's the key. A programmer's number one rule is make it work. Programmer's number two rule is don't have any bugs. And the number three rule is make it pretty. Those are my rules anyways. So I wanted to show Antar this. Check this out, Antar. So here I am in, what is that? Oh yeah. In the editor. Now this is, I'm playing the game inside the editor. So this is not the full released version of the game. But I want to, and it's a little bit clunky. The editor slows things down substantially. It's not quite as fast. As you can see, I only get 30 frames per second. So if I add one of these guys and I make it nice and big, or whatever size, doesn't matter, and then I go over here and I grab that, oops, wrong, and I go here and I do this, it shows. You see? It's showing. And why does it show in the editor but not in the produced game? I think now that I'm saying this out loud, I might have an idea as to why. Let's see. Let's try something. Okay, so in edit mode, here, I'll just show you my debug process. You guys are getting a lot of bonus content right now. This is the kind of thing I would show in a Patreon channel if I had one for this. And if you guys think that would be of a benefit, please let me know. So in order to debug that, this is what I would do. So I'm just going to show you my process. This is what I do. I've been recording now for 47 minutes, and we were at 33 minutes when I started showing you the internals here. So what I would do is I would click on this guy, because this is the event that triggers the changes of the visual elements on the playfield from upper and lower and stuff. And if I scroll all the way down here, we've got the event that occurs when you switch or select something new from that drop down. So now I'm just waiting for the editor to switch me back into code mode, or graph mode as it's called. And so what we're looking at here is we're setting a variable called PF mode to upper, lower, or main. And we're making sure that it's a mouse click that does it, because this event will fire when when whatever is selected when the edit mode loads. So we want to make sure that we don't do any of this unless it's a person actually changing the value. So let's see, we're going to get our game instance, and we're getting the game instance here. And we're getting our editor pawn. We're changing the PF level there. We're clearing all of the modes, upper, lower, and this lower. Is there an upper? No, there's not one there. And then we are switching on the string, whichever one of these, and whichever it is that we've selected, we're going to select the mode. And then we're saving. Basically, I'm looking for something that would not work correctly if it was in a production shipped build type situation. So you'll see this function right here. It's update current PF level, and it's here as well. Let's see. Wood level 2 dynamic. That one, I'm going to click this. This little browser helps you browse to it. And then if you have something else selected in the browser, you can assign it using this, but I don't want to do that. So let's go to the browser. Now, here's the content of all the stuff I have. So like this is second to the bottom. So these are all different variations of plastics and apron materials and wood and stuff that I've built. And each one of these is its own blueprint. So there's a lot to these even. So here you'll see that we've got, this is the wood level 2 dynamic, which starts out with those 4 guys. And now maybe we have draw mesh with delay. That's interesting. That's going to delay it and then draw visible mesh. I wonder if that should be on construct. Let's try that and see, because what I'm thinking is, as you can see, you can't see it in this view. So if we compile that, it's not going to show at all. Well, let's hope it doesn't crash, because sometimes Unreal will crash to the desktop. And now we'll see that there's nothing there, but if we reconnect that, it should show the wood there. And it's not for some reason. And I think that may be the issue. But I don't know why that would be mesh drawn. Actually, let's see. Oh. Let's try this and see. I'm going to have to disconnect this, compile it, and then reconnect it for it to function. No, that wasn't it. That's interesting. Let's undo that. So, there should only be... I don't think there's... I'm thinking there's something like one of these guys that's causing an issue. Got to disable that, compile it, reconnect it, and then compile it again. And that's not the case. So let's see. Variant ID. What if we change that to 1? Now, I'm just sort of shooting in the dark here because I'm not exactly sure what's causing this problem. So I'm just trying various things that could potentially fix this issue. Why I'm not seeing the... let's just copy that. And where's our begin play? Do we need a draw visible mesh here? I don't think we need that there, but don't know. I'm going to try one more thing and then let's see. Is there a visibility? Oh, you know what? I think I know what it is. Visible. I don't think it's set to viz. No, it is. Damn it. Why? Why wouldn't that work? Draw a visible mesh. That's a big old, see, that's a big old chunk of code there. There's nothing preventing that from running. What if we just go draw visible here and yeah, I'll show you what I mean. So if we look at some of these other things like the plastics editable, this is just your basic plastic, right? And so as you can see, the mesh itself should be showing. So that's that section. And then if I grab one of these and move it around, you can see that that mesh is going to move with it. And in our construction script, we're just doing draw visible mesh, which is this function, which draws that mesh and assigns coordinates to the mesh and stuff, based on the location of these, what I call vertex grabbers. But the question is, why does this not want to show me the mesh? Let's go back to that and get rid of this. No, I don't need these. It's good to keep as little going here as possible. Draw a visible mesh. That shouldn't be the issue. It's got to be something else. Why wouldn't it work? Let's just force the draw instead of relying on that and see if that helps. Nothing's gonna draw my mesh. Let's see. Let's try. Oh wait. Let's take that back out. Let's look for set visibility. All right. Let's try this. Maybe there's something in here. Yeah. So this one is setting visibility to 0, but that's working on all of these. So that's not it. That's not getting called except for the plan view. Show grabbers. That's not going to be it. So there's no set visibility option. Just for giggles, I'm going to set this to true. And I'm going to disconnect, compile, reconnect, and take a look at that and see if it were to show up, then I would know that that was the issue, but it's not. Wonder if it could have something to do with carve holes. Why is that not opening? Interesting. Okay, so these are fine. Those are all fine. I wonder maybe it is something in here. It shouldn't be. I mean, everything is... Let's see if there's something towards the end here. At least there may be some kind of complication from... So this is starting to look like one of those issues where I may need to I might need to actually go scour the internet for some information, because truth be told, I'm not seeing anything that would cause that to function in the editor, but not in the built game. So I'm going to look into that further. But I did just want to let you guys see a little bit of the back end of what I do, and how all this works. That doesn't even include, all of the plethora of things that I have, the models I've built. So let me just show you some of that real quick, so maybe you can get an idea. So under machines, I have this playfield_base. And then in here, I have some basic basic meshes. So let's just filter out meshes. So we're just going to see static meshes in here. So these are all the static meshes I've made. These are like plunger spring. I've had to make that. Actually, didn't take terribly long. I used Maya for all my modeling because I have a lot of experience with that. So there's springs, there's plungers, there are aprons. So this is what our standard apron looks like. That's all 3D modeled in Maya. And then I have to deal with texturing it. And collision is another challenge. So if we show complex collision, so the collision on some objects is based on the object themselves. So this one has complex collision because of these walls here. And these little walls here as well. So that's complex, that's a little bit complicated to build. Legs, this is just a batch of legs that I built that appear in the workshop. So they're very simple because they don't get seen very often, and there's no collision or anything on those. But then it goes deep, into like cabinets and stuff like that. So I have just this basic cabinet piece that is an older version of it that appears in the workshop. But the main cabinet is actually... Now this is going to show all of the 3D models I've made for the game. So here's, for example, oh wait, no, that's not the current one. So this is the deep one. So this is the deep cabinet that I built for deep playfields. And, I have to go through and I have to build all that, and I have to texture it, and then I have to make sure everything works right and lines up and stuff. So as far as a custom version of this that auto resizes to match a custom playfield size, well, I don't know. Maybe we'll just have an option for that to say, hey, use custom playfield and just not have a cabinet for it at first, while I work on it. But that way you could build the playfields for it. I don't know. So, and then I got to go through and make all of these materials, which are, they're all different. So let's look at one of those. So first I got to make a texture, which is, for example, just a JPEG or a PNG. And then I got to go make a material for that, which is, it has shininess and some maps on it that have illumination and things like that. So you can see like the 25 cents and the text there, it's all lit, but the rest is not. And you can see the shininess and things like that. So that gives it sort of a three-dimensional look, even though it's not really 3 dimensions. But it looks like it, so that saves on processing when it looks 3-dimensional, but it's not really. So there's quite a few things in there that are like that. And then we can go look at stuff like all the textures. So that is the texture. So let me get rid of this, reset filters, and move that back so we can see large images. So this is the textures. Well, this is the main textures folder. So all of these are textures that I've built for the game. There are some materials in here, which are these round spheres. But all the flat images you see are all just textures, like these guys, and various textures for different things. And then there's ones like this one, which is animated. I don't know if you've even seen that yet in the game, but that's a really neat animated texture I was working on. This has a lot of code in it too. But yeah, so there's weird stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, that one goes the other direction. I can't remember what I had used those for now. But there's backgrounds that I was working on for the workshop, ball textures, cabinet textures. There's a lot of stuff in here. Some materials are just in there. Decals, there's a ton of decal textures in here, like drop target decals and stuff like that. So it's all, I try to keep everything organized, and then even the rooms themselves have textures and materials that have to be created. So there's some shining room stuff and things like that. And like up here, I have blueprints. So these are all various blueprints in the game. So for example, the cabinet itself is a blueprint. So if we look at it, this is what that looks like. And these are cameras up here. And then there's a camera right there in the front that if we zoom into it, you can see that this camera is the one that is used to get an image of the back glass for use in the HUD. And behind this is a bit of code too. So the cabinet doesn't have much code, but it has some stuff in there. It mostly just has a lot of like colliders and things like that built into it, and this cable and whatnot. A lot of pieces to it though, So that's why sometimes an update can take a little bit longer. I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me and enjoying this process. Again, I do what I do because I love it, and I want to provide an awesome, fun video game / tool for you guys to build your dream pinball machines, and maybe even other stuff beyond that. Maybe you could build a pachinko machine out of this game. I don't know. I mean, technically you could. Although there isn't a pin component yet. But anyways, it looks like I've been yammering on for over an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and release this update after I fix those 2 tooltips. And heck, let's just do that while I'm here. I'm just going to not worry about the wood. I'll leave that open so I don't forget, though. And I'm just going to close these guys out because I don't think I need them. And we're just going to take a look at the tooltips, and I'll show you what I got to do to make those tooltips function. And then I'll build it, and when I build it, we'll end the video there. So here we go. So in order to do the tooltips, we're going to go back to the UI designer. But I do this coding like I'm playing a video game, like I'm leveling this up. Each one of these little things, like adding scale, was something I did today. I added all the scaling stuff today. It didn't take too long. And to me, that was fun. And that was like not battling a boss in a level, but like one of the minions, and it wasn't too hard to do. So it was pretty straightforward. It took me an hour, and then it took me another half hour just to clean it up and make it look nice and double check to make sure it functioned and all that jazz. So but stuff like importing your own user FBX files or stuff like that, those kind of things are boss level issues. So let's turn on the cabinet panel. And what we need to do is I need to go here, and there's essentially an event, it's a binding event. So we want to know whether or not we need to show the tooltip. So we'll type tool tip or tool. Awesome band, by the way, one of my favorite bands of all times, Tool. And then we'll just go copy the code out of that. So I'll just take this, copy, close that back up, and I'll wait because this blueprint has more junk in it than you can imagine. And then I'll go back to the UI designer. I don't think that, I really honestly, I do not think that Unreal developers ever imagined that their UI would be this involved. I'll click on that one and I'll go tool again, and then I'll bind this one, create a new binding, and we'll get rid of that. We'll paste this one, and then all we need to do is just change this, and that is, oh no, what is it? Oh yeah, show the standard apron. Check to show the standard apron. A default ball spawner will be included, so you don't need to add one. Okay, we'll leave it like that. That's fine. I will do a save, and then this is just the, it's just basically saying, does the user have show tooltip set? If so, show that. Otherwise, don't show anything. So super simple. And then this one is show the standard surround. And we'll type tool. And we'll bind this one. And we'll put that there. And then we'll say, check to use the standard playfield surround if you disable this, make sure you add your own wood surround to keep the ball from rolling off the playfield. All right, that should be good. Let's just look at that. Check to use it. If table doesn't make sure I want to keep the ball from rolling off the playfield. Yeah, that's good. Let's zoom in on that. Make sure that's right. Okay, cool. So now I'll save everything. It saves all the packages, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to, this is actually the editor level, so we can kind of take a look at that from a distance. The boxes surrounding it are environmental boxes that help control the way the lighting looks and the types of shadows and haze or whatever else, visual aesthetics and things like that. So yeah, that's what all that is. And here's one of the extra cabinets. That's not the standard one. That's just an extra one. And you can see there's other pieces of them. This was the one we looked at earlier, and so on and so forth. Anyways, so now what I need to do is I need to build this and package it. So I'm going to package it, and I need to delete this folder, select build folder, and now we're packaging. All right. Well, you guys, so I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me while I go through some of this back-end stuff. I know that some of you guys are coders, and you've probably been interested and wondered what this looks like. And now you kind of get a little bit of an idea of what it does look like. And geez, I didn't even touch on audio and all that jazz. So there's a lot, there's a lot more to it, you know? I mean, it's a lot more complicated than I ever imagined it would be, to be honest with you guys. I knew it would be complex, but I'd never, ever imagined it would even get to this point. So, you know, I've been working on this game since roughly, let's see, it's 2024, and in June it was 1 year that it's been out on Steam. And I had only been working on it in Unreal Engine for about 6 months, I think, prior to that. So late 22, I think it was August or September of 2022, I started building this in Unreal Engine. I had a kind of a rudimentary initial version of it in Unity, like a few years prior to that, but it didn't go anywhere because Unity's physics was really janky, and it didn't function as well as I wanted it to. And plus, they went to a subscription pay method, which is so completely stupid. I did not want to deal with that, so I said, bye-bye, I'm going to Unreal finally. Yay! Unreal is the bomb. You know, I know that none of the developers of Unreal Engine are going to ever watch this video, but I would definitely like to send a shout out and a thanks to them for creating what I can only describe as the world's most absolutely amazing and wonderful piece of software or game development software ever. Unreal Engine is fascinating and fun to use, and I recommend that you go download it and tinker around with it. It's fun. It's so much fun to mess around with. And I also was thinking earlier while I was describing some of my work as, you know, I spend my time in this program making another program for you guys to play and develop on. But now I'm seeing that there's 3 levels to that. There's the Unreal Engine developers who develop Unreal Engine for me to develop PinBuilder so you guys can develop stuff. And that's pretty freaking amazing right there. Humanity, we're on a whole new level, man. It's really freaking amazing. So, yeah. It's pretty freaking awesome. Don't worry about those warnings down there. Those are just asset warnings. So, no big whoop. Yeah. Anyways, all that stuff is no big whoop. Believe me, I've gone through the output of that, and yeah, it's all good. So, anyway, that's all. I'm going to check out for the evening. I am going to go ahead and do a quick play test of this, make sure I didn't mess anything up by changing those 2 tooltips or anything else. And I bid you guys a good night or a good morning or whatever it is. And thank you for being with me on this journey. And until I see you next time, I don't know what to say. Thanks. I appreciate you guys. I have lots of love for you guys, really. I know that sounds cheesy, probably, but I do. I really, my heart goes out to all you guys, and thank you. Thank you again for being with me in this silly journey of software development. I can't tell you how much that means to me. And yeah, I'm about to start crying. It means a lot. It really does. All right. Well, I'm going to save more of those thoughts for another time. And I'll shut up now. Go make some pinball machines. Bye.